started singing quite early, so I think I had an idea that I wanted to do music around 8, so that's pretty young. But before that, I thought I was going to be a illustrator or a painter, actually. I was drawing a lot, and it's funny, I was quite precocious as an artist at that time, and then I kept drawing a bit, but my level has now stayed the same as about when I was like 15. So I still draw at the same level as when I was 15. So it's a kind of, interesting lesson about working on something, right? Nurturing a talent. So if I'd gone that way, I probably would have been like a very good artist, but I decided to pursue music instead. But yeah, I thought maybe I would be a painter. When I first started doing music, getting into it, I had made this record when I was 16. It was a collaboration with a Brooklyn-based band. We just did it for fun. It was really a kind of just to see what it was like to be in a studio, and it really wasn't intended for public consumption. But I think that record ended up coming out through very lucky and strange circumstances. And so it did come out a couple years later. I was a student at the time, and I got these opportunities to play, festivals and different performances. And I started understanding at that point that not only did I really love doing this, I loved the life of like being on the road and performing constantly, but I also understood that I wanted to really come out with my own songs, because that was a very specific concept project that I had done when I was a teenager, using poetry as lyrics. So I think that was the driving force to, help me understand that I wanted to compose, write, and really put myself out there as me, you know what I mean? I think that project I was still hiding a little bit behind a conceptual idea. So I think that really helped me, start to try and figure out who I wanted to be as an artist. And I think that really helped me pursue music, actually. When I had my little brush with, professional music life, I was also at university. So I had taken some time off of going to school and then decided to come back, put every kind of professional thing to the side, and finish my education. And by the time I got out of school, the entire music industry had changed. I was living in a different world for music. And so I really had to figure out how I was going to pursue this independently of a label and an industry that was kind of on shaky ground. So for me, that was definitely hard, and I think it was also hard at first to find the confidence to feel like I should be putting myself out there in that way. I think it takes a lot of time and dedication to write songs every single day so that you get that confidence to feel like you really are a songwriter and really are an artist. I think it took me a while to feel like I could do that. And now I think, I've done it so much, and I really have written so much that I feel much more confident in how I approach writing and music. It's, a completely cathartic experience. I think that I wouldn't know where to put all my, I wouldn't know where to put all my feelings if I didn't have music as an outlet, And I think that for people who aren't artists, they find other ways to channel that energy. But for me, it's, for example, if I'm not performing, I get really get that itch to perform, because it's a place where I can let things go. And unlike any other avenue. So for me, it really is an important part of my life. A lot of the material on the album, the idea behind it is, it all stems from me, but I took, imaginative liberties to kind of paint scenarios that didn't exactly happen to me, And so I think that as I've digested and understood the record more, because when you're forced to talk about something, all of a sudden it kind of clicks and you understand that there is a real idea behind what you did, because sometimes you make something, you don't know where it comes from. It comes out of you, and then you think, I don't know, what am I talking about? I have no idea. But with this, I really do think that the main kind of theme of the record is archetypes of masculinity and femininity in the culture. And so it's kind of playing with these cliches, and either in a kind of, sarcastic way, or in a very serious way, or in a humorous way. And, it was kind of building upon things that had kind of been close to me and then taking it further. So I think that's really like the crux of what I was trying to do, interspersed with things that really did happen to me in the love situations or learning experiences, or, So I think that was really what I was trying to get at in the record. But it is also, kind of rebirth and starting anew, shedding like an old layer and looking to really like look forward, So the next time idea is that not only did I throw out a record and start again, but a lot of the songs deal with, looking to the future to make things better. Growing up in New York gives you a lot of opportunities to be exposed to things that, maybe a kid growing up in rural America or, wherever might not have the exposure. So I think that it's an eye-opening experience to, be around different artists, to be able to go to all the, museums and art openings, and, there's so many concerts you can see, and it really is inspiring for someone who's trying to, pursue something in the arts. And I think that the more you see, the more you hear, the more you read, it makes you yourself a better artist. It's interesting, the question about curiosity, because I was having a conversation with Marie, who was playing piano for me on the tour, and we both feel kind of shocked about how not curious people are. And it was a very interesting thing, because I didn't understand that was a quality that was so important to me, but I realized that there's a lot of uncurious people out there. It really kills, what's so beautiful about being in the world, and for me, it's it's about expansion, right? And having the opportunity to just keep learning and educating yourself. And for me, I'm curious about just about everything. I want to know everything. So, if I don't know something, I'll go look it up, or I'll go, visit, or if there's a book I haven't read, I'm like, oh, it's on my list, I gotta read this, I gotta see this. I really like to be in the know, and I think it just makes you a better person, an artist, actually. I have a theory about inspiration. I think that you have to be really in a state of relaxation to be able to be inspired. I think that, nerves and anxiety and tension works against inspiration. I find that I really can't sit down and write or be inspired if I'm, nervous about something else. And so I think it's kind of finding that place where you can have fun, enough to let yourself go, But again, I think that, when you are in that state of relaxation, anything can be inspiring.
I know you're floating around like cork upon the sea. I know you'll do as you please, you never falter.
I am part of a women's club in New York called The Wing. I think it's spread quite quickly. I think it's might be in Paris as well now. I know that it's spread across America, so it's in lots of different cities. And it was started by a friend of mine, Audrey Gelman. There's a level of support that I feel there that is very nice, and a community that's been built that is very encouraging, and the women really lift each other up. The people who will say, why do you want to have a separation like this? Why do you want a women's club where no man is, able to go? Well, I say, until, equality is really on the table, we need these kinds of places for women to bolster themselves up and help, raise a communal voice, because one person standing up is not enough. But if you have, thousands of women coming together as a unit and saying, we demand equal rights, we demand, equal pay, we demand not to be sexually harassed in the workplace, that is a real voice, it's a communal voice rather than a kind of disparate thing that really doesn't have, a movement behind it. So I argue that these places are very important for women, and places that I feel connected, I really want to make a really up-tempo record for the next thing I do. I mean, that could change, but at the moment, I've been feeling that I kind of want to make people dance and get down, and not really do, necessarily a traditional dance record, but something full of life, and that's my next step. I think what happens when you're finding yourself as a songwriter and a musician is that you need to get out all these feelings because you don't know where to put them, and so everything's very aching and sensitive. And then as you find yourself more and more, you realize you just want to make people have a good time.